Now, part two of our series on Oolagen, a Toronto teen mental health center. So what does a teenager do when they've suddenly left home? Some leave because they can no longer live with their families. Others are victims of physical or sexual abuse. Those with mental health issues are especially vulnerable. In all cases, there's nowhere to go. They have no money, no one to talk to. And they come from all types of families, rich, poor, and in between. They end up in the sex trade or the drug trade, where the money's easy. Wendy Lever, a Toronto retired police officer, has seen them all.
You know, we'll hear about human trafficking in Singapore and Thailand, how terrible it is. Well, you just got to go downtown Toronto. And it's here, and it's in every major city.
Wendy Lever is a retired Toronto police officer who helped to establish the Special Victims Unit with the Toronto Police Service. She has seen thousands of homeless kids and says street life can be a magnet for kids because it conveys the illusion of belonging.
We're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with young children. And what we're doing is, as you say, we're just casting them away. And pimps are amazing personalities.
They're very charming too, aren't they?
Unbelievable charming. And you know, a young girl who has that vulnerability, who is looking to belong and has these self-esteem issues, matter of minutes, boom, she's there, she's in. You know, I've seen young girls with broken arms, have lost teeth. I had a young girl that the pimp took a razor blade to her feet. I've seen girls that have been branded because the pimp wants his initial in her arm.
When you encounter some of these young people, do you ever wonder what kind of home they must have come from?
Well, you know, it could be your daughter, it could be my daughter, it could be anybody's daughter. They're for the grace of God.
Well, the only reason I moved out of my parents' was because we got into a stupid fight. I thought I could do whatever I want.
Yeah. And when you've got a kid that is struggling and you've got a couple of other kids that don't struggle, the tension's huge. So if we can get to kids early on in the process, it's astonishing how much just a little bit of care can make a difference.
Early intervention is very important, especially for young people. And that's where I got early intervention.
Kat has issues with severe depression and anxiety brought on by frequent bullying in school. Her mother was at a complete loss when it came to helping her. Kat says Oolagen saved her life.
I think back, all I see is just a blur because of just so much crying, and it was a very hard time for me.
So you've been at Oolagen twice.
Yes.
What do you think of Oolagen?
I hated it at first because they're strict with rules.
They get $14 a week allowance, and they're responsible for completing chores.
Faye is the longtime supervisor at one of two residential Oolagen facilities. She coordinates mental health treatment for teens in need of help.
I didn't care about school. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to get high.
Where were you getting the money for this?
We had friends who were drug dealers, so they would just give it to us if we chill with them. So we would end up doing it together.
Somebody who's been outside, who's made that fast money and so on, very hard to buy into a program that is giving you $14 a week allowance.
If I didn't come to Oolagen, I probably would be still struggling.
Adolescents with mental issues are often marginalized and living in self-imposed isolation. It is then when they are most likely to be victimized by those who prey on the vulnerable. An adolescent on the street believes there's nowhere for them to go. There's no way out.
No, there's no way out. I know in my years in dealing with sex workers, it's difficult to give them a good image. It's difficult to explain that they are victims. Young people I saw on the street, the reason why they're there, they want to belong. They need that sense of belonging. And also, they have major issues with self-esteem. And what Oolagen does for young people, it returns that whole sense of self-esteem to them and belonging.
I guess society's not so focused on our youth today, and that they are our future. So if you don't help them to make those changes, how do they become contributing members to society?
Tomorrow night, if a teen is lucky enough to gain access to the Oolagen treatment program, we'll show you how they live and the treatment programs offered. Tomorrow night as well, Oolagen is holding a major fundraiser to continue their work, and if you'd like to help out by making a donation, their web address is on the screen.